Welcome everyone here, people joining us online. I'm really happy to be here. And you've already introduced me, so there's one slide I can skip and come right to the point. For many years, you've probably heard me and others in our talks, in the State of the Union talks, that CloudStack is an orchestration technology. And I was thinking about how do I put together the slides for this talk, and it hit me. It is an orchestration technology, but it's also an enabler technology. And I was also thinking, okay, having some questions about that. Hey, CloudStack is significant technology, but it's not an obvious one. CloudStack is a successful technology. I mean, a lot of us in the room have been here for more than a decade. I've been involved in the project since 2012. And I can say it's a successful technology, but world doesn't see it that way. It's widely adopted, but people don't want to talk about CloudStack. In fact, for my talk, I reached out to, for quotes and whatnot. In fact, I got some quotes, but even people I work with professionally, they were hesitant in giving me and saying that we use CloudStack. So I was thinking, why is that the case, and why, we have these kind of questions. And it sort of hit me. Like all of us, some people took the train, some people took the cab. I took an aircraft to come here. And there are people who are joining us online. And the common thing among all of us is there is an underlying infrastructure that enabled us to come here, attend the conference, whether we are physically here or joining us online. So something has enabled us to come and attend this conference. The infrastructure enabled me to come here and stand in front of you and speak in front of you. And it's been such an honor and privilege to be standing in front of you, meeting a lot of people, putting names to faces. And I was also thinking, as much as the infrastructure generally enables people, speaking of CloudStack, CloudStack enables the users. The user community enables CloudStack. And I join Giles in thanking our sponsors, organizers, speakers who are with us, audience here and audience online. And speaking of user community, it's been a great year. So let's just look at what are the things that happened in the last 1 year. We went to CloudFest. We went to KubeCon and Cloud Native Con. We had our user group meetups in Europe and in India. In fact, the user group meetup in India, we revived after a while. And me and my co-organizers were thinking whether somebody will show up. In fact, some of us had to stand and get extra chairs. So it looks like it is successful. It's widely adopted. People want to hear about CloudStack, but they don't want to talk about it. We participate in the Google Summer of Code project this year. We had a successful student project that has been merged, or it's about to be merged. We think this will come into 4.19. We migrated the blog this year. This had to be done because the previous Apache roller-based blogging system was deprecated by the ASF infra. And we're looking into, okay, what are the alternatives? We came up with an alternative, discussed on the dev list, and we migrated the blog. And while we are doing this, we said, okay, why don't we revamp the project website as well? And you can see on the left side, you can see on the left side, there are some screenshots of the staging website and the design on the right side for the upcoming design of the website. So we think that will happen in early 2024. And overall, I can tell us that we have a healthy community. This year, we have the super healthy score of 10, which ASF board and the infra calculates based on the activity on the mailing list, the number of committers and PMC members you have added over the last 6 months. In fact, we have some new committers and PMC members, and a new one, I think, just accepted yesterday. Releases are enabling us. The user community enabling CloudStack releases. So we got quite a bunch of releases this year. The maintenance 4.17 release, the 4.18 release happened with massive marquee flagship features. We have the CloudMonkey CLI that got released. And in fact, the CAPC, that's the cluster API provider for CloudStack, we have an ongoing RC for that. So that should get released as well. And of course, 419, so I'll shut up and have our 419 release manager, Abhishek. So highly recommend, go and see his talk on what's coming in 419. And of course, we are planning to do our usual releases. So we got the Terraform provider release work in the pipeline. We got CloudMonkey release. We got the CAPC major and minor releases in the pipelines. The 418 maintenance and 419 maintenance releases we think should follow. And of course, next year, we hope 420 will be the next major release of CloudStack. And I've got some pretty good, exciting news, which some of you who are following the dev mailing list might know. We have a new project announcing CS Bench, the new CloudStack benchmarking tool. This tool will enable any one of us, the user community, to test CloudStack at scale against production environments. We are still early in the development stage, and we welcome any collaboration, contribution, testing. Everything is welcome. I've got some community insights for all of you. So I was thinking about how the CloudStack community is enabling CloudStack. So if you look at the GitHub trends, we can easily see 1,600 plus GitHub stars, 1,000 plus folks that tell us that it's an actively developed project. In fact, in the last 15 days, we have more than 1,700 unique visitors. That's just 15 days. So think, what that could look like for over a year. So massive number of traffic that we are getting on GitHub. And in terms of size of the community, the capacity of the community, we are merging as many as 100 pull requests in a month. So think about it, just to give you why that insight is relevant and useful. It takes a couple of iterations to get a PR merged. It takes anywhere from 8 to 12 hours to test changes, get the CI/CD running. So we are doing 100 plus PRs merged in a month. Now everybody has seen the hype curve, the peak and the plateau of productivity, and we have been talking about that. Hey, we are in the plateau of productivity. Now I've got some interesting graph for you. So I took developer attention. I graphed the developer attention over a period of time, and here's what I find. We are in a plateau of productivity. If you look at the last 5 years, what you see is we have a constant number of active developers in the community who are maintaining and managing the project, i.e., we are in a plateau of productivity. But I was also thinking, what about users and user community? So I looked at the data for user retention in terms of GitHub issues and other activities, and we're constantly growing. There is no user retention dip, which means we have an ever-growing CloudStack user community. Enabling community is enabling CloudStack. Let's talk about CloudStack adoption, whether the adoption is enabling its ecosystem, and the circle continues. Now, you must have seen this graph. OK, did people actually see this? OK, they did. Something wrong in the thing. Let me try again. OK. All right, I can actually see this on my laptop, but not on the screen, so sorry about that. So people have seen the users using CloudStack. So these are among the very few users of CloudStack that we know. What you don't see on this slide is two of the world's largest companies by revenue. Let me repeat that. Two of the world's largest companies by revenue are using CloudStack, not on this slide. And what I did was I reached out to a couple of happy users to say, OK, do you want to tell your story about CloudStack? And in fact, some of them did. So we have Vido, who says that CloudStack helps you build a company. It's a stable product, a stable platform. Sven says CloudStack is game changer. Daya says that CloudStack is proven cost-effective for them. It gives them modern capabilities on par with public clouds. Tamara appreciates CloudStack's flexibility and scalability, and the automation use cases they explore and they get from using CloudStack with Terraform. RSAT, who you know is an Argentinian government company, they provide telco and satellite services. They're a big user of CloudStack. And they had a bunch of IaaS cloud services internally. They consolidate all of them and replace them with CloudStack. CloudStack provides them flexibility, simplicity of management, and they really like the upgrade process between versions. KDDI, who one of the largest telcos in Japan, Shin Muraki-san says that they have been using CloudStack for more than 10 years, one of the largest users of CloudStack. You can read the number of hosts and number of VMs that they have deployed. And CloudStack meets their requirement for a strong and a stable, high-quality service that they provide by using CloudStack. And CloudStack gives them stability and operational simplicity and give them the key advantage over their competitors in meeting those customer needs. Andre from Entity Data Business Solution says that CloudStack enables them to guarantee stable, cost-efficient, secure operation, and they benefit from the intuitiveness, the simplicity, and reliability of the orchestration CloudStack provides. Now, you've probably seen about 25 companies in the previous slide with the logos of those companies, and we know from the project website there are about 225 organizations. That's the number I checked last week, so I'm not sure if something has changed. Now, I'm going to show you some data. In the last 12 months, CloudStack Management Server package was downloaded more than 227,000 times, with about 9 to 10,000 unique IP addresses. So in the known universe of CloudStack users, there are 225 organizations and companies, but there are more downloads happening. Clearly, the known universe is much smaller than the total universe of CloudStack. So I was thinking, okay, where are the users? Why they are not talking about CloudStack? So I took help from Vido and someone else in my company, and we scanned through all the download logs to find unique IP addresses and tried to plot the data of where the users are. In fact, there's a QR code you can scan. It will take you to the website where you can see in an anonymous way, zoom into your country and cities and find out, okay, who's using CloudStack in what places. So, and that's the last 3 years, because a lot of users, they don't upgrade on an annual basis, right? So it's the data for the last 3 years. And where are the users? They're everywhere. They are everywhere. So why is it that users are everywhere and no one is actually talking about that? In fact, the world's largest e-commerce company, the world's largest telcos, the world's largest consumer electronics company, they're users of CloudStack. They are not on the slide. They are not in any of the slides, but they're users of CloudStack. So that make me question. I'll give you a moment to read through the comic strip. So I have a question. Okay, fine, people are using CloudStack. They are silent. But the important question is, are they happy users? So I was thinking about, circling back to the initial, one of the initial slides I've talked about. So we all came here, whether in person or online, and the underlying infrastructure enabled us. And it hit me in the morning, maybe, speaking to Giles and others. What we talk about is, how was your flight? How was your travel? What kind of food you got? Nobody questioned me what kind of road you traveled on. Were there potholes? People complained about traffic, about delays. Somebody talked about a train breaking down. So it made me wonder, CloudStack is infrastructure, much like roads and bridges, our airports, trains, maybe cabs and taxis. And much like infrastructure in general, we are probably victims of our own success. We generally don't find it sexy to talk about infrastructure. Infrastructure is not an aspirational thing. An aspirational thing is a car, not the road on which it runs. An aspirational thing is a luxury goods or commodity or services, not where it sells from. So it makes me wonder that our users are happy users. They're silent users. And in fact, infrastructure is talked about when it breaks. When it works, it's invisible It's boring, it just works. So I think CloudStack users are silent and happy users, but that's great. But we need to keep an eye on things. We can't be complacent. So I ask you, whether you are a user, an individual, a organization, institution, or a company, to participate, promote CloudStack, and spread awareness, because that's the circle. The more users we have, the more participation we will get, the more stable the product will be, and the more confidence there'll be with people in the product, more people will use it, and that cycle will continue. I was looking into some statistics and graphs, and it hit me. The amount of conversations that happen in the dev and users mailing list, they are nowhere near the conversation that happen on GitHub. Why I know this is, I mean, if you look at the graphs, it's anywhere like 20, 30 orders of magnitude. That's 20 to 30 times of conversations happening on GitHub. It's because every time somebody raises a bug, raises a pull request, makes a comment, there's an email that goes to the commits mailing list, which makes me rethink that, hey, it's been more than a decade. We got the same bylaws, the same structure in terms of how we do releases, the same kind of platforms we encourage people to go and use. But people are clearly finding other platforms like GitHub, maybe other portals that we are not part of. So I propose let's rethink our community practices, whether how we release the software, how do we support our users, find those users, how they are finding us. So there needs to be a feedback loop that needs to be established. And I think user organizations can help and enable CloudStack. Now we know most of us here are enabled to come here and join the conference because you probably are working for a user organization that sees benefits in attending the conference. So user organizations can help by getting involved. Get involved. We think spending few hours pays longer-term dividends to people who get involved. User organizations sponsor these individual contributors who not only drive and secure the future of CloudStack, in a way they are securing your business interests. So I ask you, get involved. Collaborate. Now there are many ways to collaborate. Coming to the conference is a good first step, but also joining the mailing list, also joining Slack, also raising a GitHub pull request, or reporting a bug. And there are more ways to contribute. Code is an obvious thing. Giles introduced me as something who's been a developer for quite a while, but there are more ways to contribute. Not just code, which is an obvious one, but also testing CloudStack, reporting bugs, participating in releases, voting on releases, being part of the community, improving the CloudStack documentation, improving the CloudStack website. All those are ways to contribute to CloudStack. Lastly, make some noise, spread the word. Go blog about CloudStack. Go say you are using CloudStack, how you're benefiting from CloudStack, how CloudStack enables you to do whatever you are doing. Spread the word. And as I was thinking about what people can do about CloudStack, I was also thinking what we can collectively do to think about the future of CloudStack. And it hits me that I have nothing new to share to you. You probably all know this. You've heard other past speakers in the past about this. The first one is the obvious one, just enable others. That's what CloudStack does well. Build on abstractions. The Kubernetes story is a good one. A lot of users are using CloudStack simply because they want to run Kubernetes. I know this because there's a graph I couldn't show you, which I am happy to share afterwards, about what are the top searched queries of people who are coming to CloudStack documentation website. And Kubernetes seems to be on the top. So which means a lot of organizations see CloudStack as an enabler, and having this abstraction layer of Kubernetes helps them to enable whatever they run on Kubernetes. The other one is the obvious one, which is VMware, which I'll speak in the next slide. As many as 20% VMware users are considering some kind of migration. They want to lower the total cost of ownership, but they also want the benefits of having a cloud, an IS kind of layer, benefiting from Kubernetes. So we need to think about features and strategies on how can we enable users to come to CloudStack. In fact, the hyperscalers are watching this. The big Googles of the world, the Azure, the Amazon Web Services of the world, they're thinking about this. They know this is happening. Some people call it cloud repatriation. Some people call it migration because of cost of capital that has increased, or because they want to lower the total cost of ownership. And hyperscalers have come up with strategies where they are building their services, their products, which run on-prem. In fact, we know the Kubernetes story that happened, I think, last year, or it started the year before last year with CAPC. People want to run Kubernetes on top of CloudStack. So there might be opportunities to look at, okay, there are strategies that hyperscaler are looking into that. Maybe CloudStack can benefit from that. The third one is the obvious one, enable tooling and integration. The large user community of service providers and users see CloudStack as a virtualization orchestration layer. So enable them through tooling, through automation, through APIs, to things like Terraform or CloudMonkey or Ansible. So that can secure the future of CloudStack. And last but not the least, enable and win on our strengths. What are those strengths? CloudStack is simple, reliable, it's intuitive, easy to use, easy to manage, upgrade. It just works. And there are use cases of data sovereignty, compliance, which enable those use cases. So we can win on our strengths. And that, to all of you, is when I say CloudStack enables. User community enables CloudStack. CloudStack enables you. Hashtag CloudStack just works. That's it. That's the talk. Merci beaucoup.